Boy, oh boy, what a week. Damn it, man. Listen, guys, it's been quite a week. So many events happening. I've been thinking about which events and which news I need to focus on and try to get my opinions out on. There's so many that you're just gonna have to deal with. You're gonna have to deal with what I'm bringing to you today, because I definitely can't put everything. I can share my thoughts on all the news that has happened over the last couple of days since my last video. It's just a video love letter, so to speak, to the referees of the UFC and combat sports. If you haven't seen that video, please check it out. But yeah, so much has happened, man. So much has happened. I don't even know where to start from. But you know what? Let's just get right into it. Welcome, guys, to episode 10. I know you guys have missed me. Listen, I've been trying to get some things together. I've been trying to get my mind together too. I've been trying to understand things that have been happening. And boy, I was left speechless. Can you imagine Mr. TDC left speechless on on the events that have been happening so far? I typically have stuff to say. Yeah, I was speechless for a little bit, and I've been able to compose myself to bring this episode to you. So let's get into it. Let us have a conversation. On today's episode, we're going to be talking about some news about Mr. Jon Jones and having some more run-in with the law, you know, typical. Nate Diaz is suing Fanmio, the company that was the promoting company that was responsible for the promotion of his fight, his boxing match with Jorge Masvidal. I'm going to get into that. We're going to be talking about Magoomed and Ankalev and Alex Pereira and the back and forth between these two guys. I want to dig my claws into that one a little bit too. Another one that really gave me a little bit of a thing. Rose Namajunas versus Tracy Cortez, I believe. Oh, okay. I have one or two thoughts on that fight, so I'm gonna sink my talents into that one. And last but not least, we are going to talk about the biggest event that has happened in the US this week. Everybody's on it, and Mr. TDC is gonna get a piece of that cake as well. Donald Trump was almost assassinated. I will get into these conversations and dig into them, but in no particular order. Let's get right into it. First things first. Oh, sorry. Listen, I forgot. Another one I'd like to talk about is I'd like to share my thoughts on Sean O Malley winning the ESPYs and the backlash he's been getting over the win or the nomination or whatever you want to call it. I'm going to talk about that, and you guys let me know again. Do you share the same thoughts, right? Now, let's get into this. First, let's dig into Sean O Malley. Sean O Malley recently won an award, an ESPY award. If you don't know, the ESPYs are like the Oscars for sports. The ESPN is the one responsible for putting the ESPYs together. I don't know why anybody has a problem with Sean winning the award. I think personally, O'Malley he's been putting on a tear. He's been putting on some really good fights ever since he came back from that long layoff. And I'm not talking about the injury. I'm talking about the layoff in his early career that was related to performance-enhancing drugs, which he ended up being exonerated from. Sean came back and he's really done well for himself. Makes me wonder if he hadn't had that layoff earlier in his career, would he have been able to mature as a fighter and develop his skills even better and probably would have become a champion at a younger age? I don't know. But it is something that is worth talking about. It is something that is worth thinking about. However, he made a comeback from that incident, and he also made a comeback from an injury after the first Cheeto fight. Made spectacular comebacks, wins the belt from Aljamain Sterling when nobody thought that he would, and then completely dismantled Chito Vera. Like, you see the difference between Sean's face and Chito's face after that match? Wow. Poor Chito. Let's just say he had some time to ride that wave of fame and the W until he was actually faced with Sean O Malley. And quite frankly, in the mind of the casuals, we now know, looking back, that Sean O Malley did not lose that fight with Chito Vera the very first time they met. My money, if they meet a third time, my money will be on Sean O Malley based on the performance of their second fight. Like, Sean went in there with a vengeance, completely chopped Chito down. Chito had no answers. And then after the match, Chito said, I heard he made some silly comments about, I think he said O'Malley cheated or something like that. I think he mentioned O'Malley had a lot of oil on his body, something of that nature. I'm paraphrasing, by the way, but Chito did have some complaints after the fight. Some excuse, rather. I wouldn't even call them complaints. Some stupid excuse. Yeah, it was stupid. Why didn't you make those? Listen, okay. Let me take it back a notch. I don't like when fighters lose fights and make stupid excuses. It's cool to have an excuse set up already, go into the match and win, and then not say it. Don't give us any hints about the excuse. But then it's not cool when you go in, you lose, and then you come out with your built-in excuse. Oh my God, I didn't have enough camp time. Oh my God, well, you see, he had a little oil on his body. Oh my God, I had a little staph infection in my nostril. Oh my God, my booty hole was too brown. Will you guys shut the hell up with these damn excuses? There are people who have had excuses going in and they don't say anything. Those are the badasses. They go in there and they get things done. Anyway, let's keep Chito aside. A lot of people complaining about Sean for getting the ESPYs. I sort of understand it, but I don't agree with it. I think Sean deserves it. When have you ever seen an unexciting Sean O Malley fight? Never. Sean actually has fantastic fighting skills. He's a very good athlete. He's an athlete who doesn't really have controversy. He represents himself in and out of the ring very well, which I've always said is one major criteria for championship material. What does he have? He has, I think he has a partner. I'm not sure if he's married to her, but he has a family with his girlfriend or his lady and their kid. It's a good father who's in the child's life. What do you want to say is the excuse, really? Sean does everything very well. And again, let's even try to focus on his achievements in the Octagon. Sean O Malley is one of my favorite fighters just based on his style. Very entertaining, very exciting, very slick, very good with his movement, sharp shooter, very ambitious. Behind all that clown look and the colors, the flashy lights and flashy outfit, is a legitimate badass. Sean O Malley is a legitimate badass. Why is that so hard for people to believe? And then he wins an ESPY and people are complaining? Like I said, I sort of understand the complaints, but I don't agree with it, right? And there are people who are out there saying that Sean O Malley is being promoted by the UFC. That's great, but let me give you a counter argument. Guys, does the UFC promote people who don't really have talent? The only person that probably comes to mind is CM Punk, and that was purely a business decision, right? Where CM Punk had a lot of eyes. He was very popular, but they didn't know if his fighting skills could match the kind of eyes that he would bring to the UFC, right? But think about it this way. UFC doesn't promote people who don't have talent. If you have talent and you can fight, what's wrong with the UFC promoting you? You guys have to understand, there are about what, 500 people on the UFC roster. And each one of them is a legitimate badass. So for you to be the cream of the crop in whatever division, for you to have made it through a division and make it to the rankings and become a champion or a #1 contender, or even somebody on the top 5, you are a badass. And you deserve all the respect that you get. O'Malley has proven that, right? If I was the UFC, I'd promote him too. He brings eyes. He knows how to fight. He really hasn't legitimately lost on his run so far. Why wouldn't I want to promote that? I mean, it's like, you know, YouTube or all these social media companies, right? If you have content that is good, the algorithm is going to promote it. Why should that be a problem? I've heard about Bo Nickel. Same thing. They have complaints that UFC is promoting Bo Nickel. So what? UFC is promoting Alex Pereira. So what? Aren't you supposed to promote guys who are winning? Who are you supposed to promote? The ones who don't do pretty well? That makes no sense, guys. Casuals, take it easy. Let's convene a meeting where we can agree that it is okay to promote good talent in the UFC. If Sean O Malley wasn't good at what he was doing, nobody is going to promote him. What am I missing here? Guys, what am I missing? He can fight, right? It's the same thing like early career Conor. All respect, Conor was a sniper. He could talk very well. He was promoted, yes, he was hyped. But that's why we have that character in the UFC. That's why we have that many eyes in the UFC, right? It was no coincidence that the UFC was sold for $4.2 billion in 2016 at the prime of Conor's reign. That was not a mistake. I just want you guys to know that it's something to be said. So if they're looking for superstars every time that can bring eyes to the business, what's the problem? Especially if those superstars can fight. And nobody can deny that Sean O Malley can fight. He has skills, guys. Let's not even go into this conversation. Sean O Malley has skills. Sean is pretty funny on his social media as well. Is that a problem? That's promotion. That's what the UFC wants. You don't want a champion who can't sell a fight. You don't want a champion who people don't want to see. That, in my opinion, is the struggle of Leon Edwards. Yeah, right now of all the champions, between Leon Edwards, Pantoja, and what's the girl who won the belt from Valentina Shevchenko? Nobody wants to see them. Nobody wants to see them. No disrespect or anything like that, but I'd rather see more exciting fighters hold the belt. I'd rather see more exciting champions, right? Go and look at Pantoja's last fight. Did he really sell? Hey, you tell me. If there's anything I've said here that you disagree with, tell me why. You know what I'm saying? So that's all I'll say about Sean O Malley. Sean deserves the ESPY. That is the Mr. TDC's personal opinion and position. You can't change my mind about it, but I'm open to listening to what you have to say. Present me with compelling evidence to change my mind, and I will. Okay? Transitioning. Let's go to Nate Diaz. So Nate Diaz, apparently I heard he's suing Fanmio. That's the company that is responsible for promoting his Nate Diaz's boxing match with Jorge Masvidal. Apparently, they offered Nate Diaz $10 million. That's the most I know. And now, after the fight, it would appear the fight didn't make as much PPV sales, that they're having problems paying Nate. Again, allegedly, this is what Nate's side is alleging. They're having problems paying Nate, and because of that, Nate has sued. There's a statement from the CEO of what's it called? Fanmio. I'm going to read it out to you guys because I have a few things to say about that. Hold on. There you go. So he says here, Nate Diaz has filed a frivolous lawsuit against Fanmio, which claims that fraud and breach of contract were committed by Fanmio, yet neither has taken place. In fact, Diaz has already been paid 7 figures in connection with the fight. You should have told us exactly what it is you paid him. When you say 7 figures can be $1 million, 7 figure can also be $10 million that you owe him. The fact that they even said he's been paid 7 figures without necessarily putting in an exact amount makes me know that there's something shady going on here. But I continue. He says, I look forward to resolving this dispute through the appropriate process, and I'm confident that justice will prevail. Making salacious and defamatory statements to the media in order to harm my family, like what the hell? And I only strengthen my resolve to ensure that the truth will triumph. Solomon Angel, Fanmio Inc. CEO. End of quote. But it looks shady. It looks shady. When have you ever heard that Nate Diaz sues anybody? Typically, Nate lives by a certain code of honor, code of the streets, where if you say your word, you hold on to your word and it's a wrap. Nate typically doesn't sue people. I've never heard it. Never. He ain't no snitch, so to speak, in Stockton language. So then he's suddenly suing you guys. Sounds suspect, and I'm gonna have to go with Nate. I'm gonna have to think that there's more to it in favor of what Nate is saying rather than Solomon Angle or Fanmio. I don't even know who he is, but we do know Nate. We know that Nate lives by a code of honor. So for him to wake up and say he's gonna sue, something is fishy. But then you have to think of what kind of promoter would just commit to getting a fighter in the ring, for the fighter to put their life on the line, go through training camp, put their reputation on the line, go through all that risk for entertainment, for our entertainment, and for your business profit. What kind of promoter would not want to pay that kind of guy the money that was agreed? Contracts are sacrosanct. You gotta pay up, bro. I mean, doesn't the legal system work in the United States of America? I'm sure it does. And Nate would not go to court if he didn't have his papers set up. That much I know. Pay that man his money, man. Pay Nate Diaz his money. Solomon Angle, you better hope the casuals don't come for you. I'm joking. I don't support violence, guys. But then listen, I do support payment of agreed fees for fighters. It's bad enough that these guys have to go in there to put their lives on the line. And then what are they doing it for? For the fame? It's not really for the fame, it's mostly for the money. They want to take care of themselves and they want to take care of their families. Can you please pay him that money? Thank you, sir. Thank you. Next. So, on the case of eyelashes, over the weekend at the Fight Night event, Rose Namajunas versus Tracy Cortez was the main event. And I watched it, and Rose gave us, classic Rose Namajunas, gave us a very crisp performance, like we know Todd Rose is able to deliver. But in all that, even with her win and her post-fight speech seeking the UFC to come to Lithuania, whatever that is, I think the thing that got the most attention was the fact that Rose actually punched off an eyelash of Tracy Cortez. Tracy, who goes into an MMA fight with eyelashes? Who are you trying to impress? I mean, you're a baddie and all, you're pretty cute and all. But yeah, you're not in the ring. If you go in the ring, it ain't a make-up contest. When you go in the ring, it's not a runway. You're going in there to fight. So, why you gotta put eyelashes on? You might as well put a nose ring or some earrings and go in. Put some mascara while you're at it. Add a little weave on that baby while you're at it. Who does that? I saw that shot that punch in slow motion when the when the damn eyelash flicked out and flew off in the ring. It was so funny. I actually laughed, And then after the match, of course, I believe it was Tracy's first loss. I'm not sure. I'm gonna have to check that again. I do believe it was her first loss, professional loss, and of course she came out with a built-in excuse. Oh my God, I didn't have enough time. If you take a fight on short notice, don't say you did not have enough time at the end of the day. Because if you take a fight on short notice and you deliver you get to legendary status. Your stock goes up. Ask Dan Ige. So it's one or the other. You can't eat your cake and have it. If it's short notice, say, you know what? Take it in good stride. Say, hey, in your mind, you took it on short notice, you know all the risks involved. If you lose, great, you learn from the lesson. If you win, stock goes up. You become a badass. You took a risk against Rose, you lost, deal with it. Learn from it. And learn not to bring damn makeup into the Octagon. The Octagon is no place for makeup, baby. Okay? God damn. I believe I have to be the one to tell you this. Anyway, transition. So, Jon Jones. Trying to be delicate about this one because I don't have all the facts just yet, but I believe I've seen that Jon Jones had a run-in with the law for 2 misdemeanors recently. Again, there's really not much details I'm going to talk about on this. I just want to say my opinion. When are we going to stop hearing about Jon Jones and his run-ins with law enforcement? When? Isn't that story old? Isn't that tiring? Isn't that boring? Right? Isn't that enough for us to just, all right, chill, bro? Right? We're waiting for this supreme heavyweight fight between Jon Jones and Stipe Miocic. And that's really our focus for Jones and the heavyweight division. We are not interested in hearing about Jon Jones running with the law anymore. We've been doing this for a long time, almost 10 years now. Back and forth with law enforcement and Jon Jones. Am I the only one who feels this way? I can't be. There has to be someone else out there who really thinks that this is getting boring. Getting really boring, guys. Jon, come on. I want to see more videos when you're out of the Octagon. I want to see videos about you and your family. I want to see videos with you and your beautiful dog. I love your dog, by the way. I want to see videos of you trying weapons training, doing archery, improving your archery skills. I want to see videos of you teaching people martial arts, mixed martial arts outside the Octagon. I want to see you have fighter interactions like the ones you did with Tom Aspinall and kept it respectful. That's what I want to see. I'm tired of this whole thing with you and the law, bro. I don't know. I don't know. I'm just saying it's getting boring and we're tired. You know? That should make some sense, right? Getting tired of it. It's just Jon Jones. Every time you hear, you're on the edge of your seat. What's the news about Jon Jones? Ooh, it could be some sirens coming up. It could be some choppers in the air. Call the SWAT team. That's not the story we want to hear, bro. And this is why I've said in the past that the conversation about Jon Jones being the greatest of all time is being ruined by Jon Jones himself. Because to me and to a lot of casuals, being the greatest of all time or being championship material is about what you do in the Octagon and what you do outside of the Octagon in your professional and personal life. I'm not asking you to be a role model. I'm just asking you to give us something to aspire to. Right? And I know it could be a lot of pressure to be in the spotlight and be a guy who's held in such high regard. It almost dehumanizes you and just objectifies you. So I understand that sometimes there's that pressure to, that pressure can take its toll, the pressure to always be prim and proper. I understand it. But at the same time, you have to understand, you are a public figure. Whether you like it or not, that comes with the territory, bro. Please act right, Jon Jones. Okay? And I really hope you don't feel like I'm coming at you the wrong way, because that's not my intention. I really want to see you win. I want to see you win in all aspects of life, not just what's happening in the cage, what's also happening outside the cage. And the fact that there's been more controversies outside the cage than there is in the cage is something we should try to change before the end of your career. Make sense? I hope it does. I'm still rooting for you, bro. Keep training. Let's get that fight with Stipe out of the way. Okay? Now, transitioning to Magoomed Ankalaev, the #1 contender right now in the light heavyweight division, and Alex Pereira. These guys have been going back and forth over the last couple of weeks. I think actually it even intensified from UFC after Alex knocked out Jamahal Hill in UFC 300. Ankalaev was put on notice, right? I don't even think Ankalaev was really put on notice when Alex won the belt. I think he was really put on notice when Alex KO'd Jamahal Hill and has gone further to KO Yuri. And Ankalaev has just turned up the heat with his public statements about Porton, wanting to challenge him, wanting to face him. I know in the past I've made videos saying that, I wasn't sold on Porton. And I said that if he makes it past Yuri in impressive fashion the last time, I will be sold on Porton. And I am, don't get me wrong. But I also still agree with Kamaru Usman when Usman said, Alex's skills cannot translate across divisions in order for anybody to put him on the pound-for-pound list. I agree. And Alex has come out to say that people need to understand that just a couple of years ago, he was only a kickboxer. He's coming to MMA and he's still evolving, which is very impressive if you consider he's now been a champion in 2 weight classes and has defended his belt multiple times. It's impressive to think that he can do all that while he's evolving. It just makes you wonder what is his ultimate form going to be? Is it going to be, like Super Saiyan? I don't know. But I do know that I want to see him really be tested. Really. Because Izzy is a 185er. And Adesanya was able to rock him in the end of round 1 of their first fight and KO'd him into the stratosphere in their second fight in MMA. And Izzy has knockout power, but Izzy really wants to be known for real knockout power. Like, I'm talking Derek Lewis kind of, I'm talking knockout power. I want to use Derek Lewis as an example, but Derek Lewis is heavyweight. My point is, I'll give you an example. Sean O Malley has 1-punch power. Cody Garbrandt has 1-punch power. Josh Emmett has 1-punch power. Legit. These guys can put you to sleep. Davison Figueiredo, same thing. Izzy is not known for that kind of power. And he was able to do that to Alex. What do you think a very powerful light heavyweight could do to Alex Pereira? Granted, he doesn't have to cut weight as much at light heavyweight than he did at middleweight. But then he's facing bigger and stronger opponents at middleweight. And Magoomed Ankalaev is a real threat to him, standing up and on the ground. And Ankalaev who went as far as being cocky enough to suggest that he will stand with Alex and knock Alex out. It's a good build-up for the fight. I'm eager to see how that plays out. And I've always said I would want Alex Pereira to face Ankalaev because Ankalaev is the legitimate contender in the 205 division right now. There is nobody, right? It's Ankalaev next. If Alex is able to go through Ankalaev, then please just give him a heavyweight. Give him a heavyweight title. If he's able to go through Ankalaev, give that man his heavyweight title shot. Make a super fight between him and the heavyweight champion, whoever it is. Jon Jones, Tom Aspinall, which I think will be a disaster. Whoever, Stipe, whoever it is. Alex needs to fight that person if he can make it through Ankalaev. And let's just have a legacy moment where it's possible that Alex could be the first 3-division champion in the UFC. I'll leave it on that note as I transition into the story of the week. Donald J. Trump, a United States former president and 2024 presidential candidate, was almost killed at a rally in Pennsylvania, I believe. Guys, I don't think you understand the implication of this. I don't think you guys really understand how close how close the United States came to a civil war. Some may say that's exaggerated, but after January 6th, I can tell you for free, I think something bad would have happened in the polity here. Now, I'm not one to talk about politics. I've always said this. Whenever I speak about Donald Trump, as I did in episode 3 of my podcast, please, if you haven't seen episode 3, guys, go over, watch episode 3. Whenever I speak of Donald Trump, I always try to tie it away from politics and towards more towards his love for the UFC and fighting and combat sports, boxing, and his relationship with fighters. And this video or this segment will not be any different. It will not be any different. I will always tie this into fighters. A lot of fighters have reacted to the news of Trump's survival, including Jorge Masvidal, Holly Holm, Newmancer, which is what's his name? Newmancer, Joaquin Phoenix, Sean Strickland, Colby Covington, and outside of fighters, even Dana White, which typically was expected because Dana has been friends with Trump for at least 25 years. Even Dana made a statement. Everybody's reacting to this. And they all are in support of Donald J. Trump. I'm going to use this opportunity to talk to whoever it is on whatever side of the political aisle you guys are on. At the end of the day, we're all fight fans. Dear fight fans, politics aside, why would you want to wish for anybody to be killed because of their political beliefs? Why? Don't be that person. You can have differences without being enemies. There are many countries in the world that have multiple political parties that do not agree on a number of issues or diverse number of issues. They don't agree. But guess what? When it's all said and done, political rivals can sit over a bottle of beer, have a pint, shake hands, and keep it pushing without inciting political violence. And the truth of the matter is, both sides in the US, the red and the blue, are both responsible for inciting political violence. And you have to wonder, like, what is happening? Is the US that kind of country now? Come on now. Come on. I stand with the fighters who have said there is no place for violence in the United States political arena. There really isn't. Why should something like that happen? Right? I have a lot of more thoughts on this conversation. It's just, if I have to start digging into that, we're going to end up having a political conversation, and I'm not about to have that on this channel. What I'm about to do is talk about politics as it ties to combat sports. And there's been no bigger presidential support for combat sports than the support Donald Trump has given to our beautiful sports. That's why we were all concerned. Right? At the end of the day, a win for Trump is a win for combat sports as far as I'm concerned. That's where I'm going to leave it at. That's where I'm going to be. That is going to be my focus. For those people online who are hoping that, you know, hey, the guy should not have missed. Bruh, that's somebody's father, somebody's husband, somebody's friend, somebody's brother, somebody's inspiration. I'm just saying. You guys need to chill with the rhetoric, okay? And I love Dana's support for Trump. Dana has come out guns blazing in support. And a lot of other fighters, everybody I've just mentioned. Even Henry Cejudo. Everybody I've just mentioned. Even Ali Abdulaziz. They've all come out to show strong support for Donald. As we head into the election, dear fight fans, please, please, please keep the violence away from the ballot boxes. That's all I'll say about that. TDC signing out on this one. Like, share, subscribe. If you've been here this long, I thank you. And I'm out. Peace.